Now let's get straight into it. So I saw this floating around on social media and I just wanted to address it really quickly. It says Florida bus driver fired for making white passengers sit at back of the bus. First of all, I want to say I believe this is fake. Um, a lot of people are commenting on these his hat here. This brother is shown on the screen, SEPTA. That's a public transportation system in Philly, I believe, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And I was looking for actual articles on this and couldn't find anything. So my conclusion is that it's fake. I don't believe this to be a case at all. They just kind of put in a font like it's an excerpt from an actual article, but I believe it's fake. Now I could be wrong. If you got the article, actual substantial evidence showing that this is real, like his name and more details, then you can provide it. But I don't believe this to be real. But I will say that I saw a lot of people on the social media posts I saw this on, and I'm talking about the posts that's actual brothers and sisters in the knowledge. So not just like the average, person, but the posts I saw this on, a lot of people were getting galvanized by it. And I just never understand why when I see certain things like this, like what's so dope about it? Like brothers is like, oh, this is, I need to adapt this brother up and stuff like that. And I really never understand it. So the elect versus everybody. The elect versus everybody. Because again, this is going to be quick. I'm not going to go break a full breakdown here. I can go into scriptures and things, but I just want to say here quickly. Like when you see stuff like this, man, it always trips me out because all I can think of is that our people in the knowledge, we still get a kick out of trolling the so-called white man and woman. We so-called white people, we still get a huge kick out of it for certain things that, that may have happened during a quote unquote slavery, or like in this case during the Jim Crow period. This is what this alluding to essentially with Rosa Parks sitting on the back of the bus. Well, one thing we need to understand about this is that Rosa Parks, matter of fact, I will at least pull that. Let's pull that. Hold on one second here. Okay, I have the wiki page here of Claudette Colvin. So Claudette Colvin, it says, born Claudette Austin, is an American pioneer of the 1950s civil rights movement and retired nurse aide. So the sister is still alive. On March 2nd, 1955, she was arrested at the age of 15 in Montgomery, Alabama, for refusing to give up her seat to a white woman in a crowded, segregated bus. This occurred 9 months before the more widely known incident in which Rosa Parks, secretary of the local chapter of the National Association of Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, helped spark the 1955 Montgomery bus boycott. So essentially what I'm getting at is that this sister here, Claudette Colvin, she really was one of the first people to kind of protest of sitting on the back of the bus. It was not Rosa Parks. Okay. And let's get a little bit more on that, and then I'm going to get more into my points. For many years, Montgomery's black leaders did not publicize Colvin's pioneering effort. Colvin has said, young people think Rosa Parks just sat down on the bus and ended segregation, but that wasn't the case at all. Colvin's case was dropped by civil rights campaigners because what? Because Colvin was unmarried and pregnant during the proceedings. It is now widely known that Colvin was not accredited by civil rights campaigners at the time due to her circumstances. Wow, so Rosa Parks stated if the white press got a hold of that information, they would have had a field day. They call her a bad girl. Her case wouldn't have a chance. So essentially, if you read between the lines, Rosa Parks being a part of the NAACP, her case of refusing to sit on the back of the bus was just publicized because of her affiliations. Even though it was the same event, they could take Rosa Parks. She was more marketable. Her situation was more marketable than Claudette Colvin, so they used her. So what that means is that it did not seem genuine to me. And Rosa Parks is one of the most known, so-called civil rights activists that we always learn about. Like, what so-called black person don't know, doesn't know about Rosa Parks, right? And a lot of things in the civil rights movement, if you dig deeper into it, there was a lot of hoaxes. There were a lot of just like there's a lot of staged events. There's a lot of staged events. And there were a lot of staged events at this time too. It didn't just start now in the society. These things have been going on. So we understand that it was a lot of nonsense, a lot of contrived events. Then you don't put the same power into these civil rights movements, because remember, we were better, quote unquote, segregated, not from a standpoint of lesser treatment and you having to eat in the back of a restaurant. All that. Of course, I ain't talking about all that nonsense. I'm just saying being separated, not segregated. I'm gonna use that word, but being separated, we were a lot better than when we were, quote unquote, included. Okay, that was nothing but a way to get all people to be under one rulership and to all get programmed by the same thing at the same time. I'm kind of getting off the point here, but I did want to provide this small piece of context. There's a lot more going on, but either way, with this brother, so-called sitting white passengers in the back of the bus, like, this is, I don't see this and just think it's dope, or like, yeah, let's get payback. Like, come on, man. Why do we still care about this? Like, come on, man. You're not going to get back at so-called white people by making them sit on the back of the bus. Like, that's emotional to me. I want you to feel how our people felt. That's not how war works. This is not how rulership works. Okay? When Yahushua comes back and punishes the other nations, it's not from I want you to feel how we felt. It's because of their violations against the statutes, laws, and commandments of the Most High. But the vengeance is of the Lord anyway. So even if that was the case, the vengeance is of the Lord. So why do we care about this stuff? Like, this is not dope. This is not even funny to me. I say this was a real story. You should not be losing your job over trolling so-called white people, making them sit on the back of the bus. Like, you're not supposed to carry how you really feel into the workplace. It's never a good thing. If you go on your job and your manager's so-called white, or whatever the case, whatever level of boss he is, and you tell me you Edomite and read a book over, die, you're going to be destroyed. See how that play out. You don't have to do that. There's no reason. Like, you gain nothing from doing that. So if it's me and I'm a bus driver, I'm not going to sit so-called white pastors at the back of the bus, because for what? What did I really accomplish? Again, this is emotional to me. Again, so many people thought this was like dope, and let's find this brother, make sure he got a job and all that. Like, that's just foolish. It's going to be hard for you to maintain a position at a job if you're doing that. Now, I'm not saying that you do nothing. Like, you can have preferential treatment. Like, say if you get a manager's position and you got 3 candidates and you pick the so-called black candidate because he was qualified and he can handle the job, and you had the power to do that versus the so-called white one. So I'm not tripping that you should do stuff like that. But I mean, what is this? Passengers sit at the back of the bus. I'm just going to make white passengers sit at the back of the bus to get back at them. Like, that's whack to me. To be honest, 100% honest, is actually lame. I'm just going to be real. That's mad lame to me. Again, I'm just going off of the energy and the doctrine, the mindset, the ideology of this being a dope thing. I don't believe this is even real. I'm almost certain that actually it is not real. However, it's not about whether it's real or not. I'm just taking this from, with something that was going around on social media. But that's really all I got to say about it. Oh, well, no. The elect versus everybody. So out here, a lot of our people, we just get so tied up in trolling so-called white people because we see the scriptures, and redemption from the Lord, we see it as a racial thing from a standpoint of it's Israelites versus white people, or it's Israelites versus Edomites, and it's not. It's the elect. I mean the remnant, the select from Israel, from the Israelites, the elect versus not only the Edomites, but every other nation. Everybody else, they don't matter. When you have that mindset, you don't let somebody that's so-called black, just because they so-called black, you don't trust and accept them because you know that they may or may not be walking according to the word, even if they claim to be in the knowledge. And then at the same time, you see the other nations as just the other nations. So you don't see them as a threat. You don't see them as anything. A lion does not walk around worried about what flies are doing, what the frogs doing. Okay, if you're gonna be the true leader of the jungle, you believe you're above all nations of earth. Why is stuff like this? Like, why would you care about where they sitting at? You giving them unnecessary energy. It's like if you get with a woman and they say, if she says, "Oh, I'm over my ex," but every single day she bringing up her ex, he used to do this like this. I can't stand him. He used to do this. I can't stand him. If she talking about that nigga every day, well, guess what? She must not really be over him because she keep giving him energy. Now, it's a certain way you could go about it because I talk about my past experiences with my woman, but it's not from a standpoint of me, thinking about that person I was with. Is really to express her like how much in disbelief of the person I used to be to the person I am now, different stupid stuff that I used to do and think. But again, there's a certain way to go about that. So I'm not saying every single statement that person make it means that they thinking about the other person. But if you have a woman or anybody for that matter, I'm just picking a woman to talk about in this instance. You have a woman, she always talking about a man that she used to be with. It's probably because she's still thinking about that man. She's not over that man. Okay, and if you, likewise here, if you really see the so-called white man as spittle, then why are you giving them energy to sit them on the back of the bus? So you don't pay spittle any attention. So, I don't think this is dope. I think this is lame. Say if it was true, if this actually happened, I think it's whack. Don't lose your ability to provide your job just to troll so-called white people. Why do we like trolling so-called white people so much, man? Like, again, it's the elect versus, actually, you know what? I've been saying the elect versus everybody. Let me change it. So I'm going to name this actually the elect versus the elite. The elect versus the elite. So the so-called elite of society are really the movers and shakers, not your average so-called white man or woman. They don't know what's going on either. Okay, so why do y'all care about where they sitting at and stuff? They ain't no different than anybody else. Okay, they not the ones that's actually bringing down the stuff that's hurting our people. So why you care about what they think? That's pretty much it, man. I just wanted to hop on this real quick. Lord willing, it was edifying. At least gave you a different perspective. But outside of that, man, I bid everyone mighty shalom.